Hey, what's up, dudes? Kublai Khan here, and welcome back to Faster Than Light Thought Diaries. Yeah, you know what? I kind of wanted to go in and sort of talk a little bit more, because yesterday I put up a video that was about what you have to deal with when a friend of yours is stuck in a bad relationship for them. And I thought it would be kind of interesting after I talked about it. And I was thinking it over, because this filming is about a little less than a week after. Also, I have the flu. So if I'm like way a little more low, it's because of the subject and also because it physically hurts to move. Yesterday it physically hurt to talk, so nothing was filmed then. Anyway, there was a kind of, when I was talking about the variety of my friends and people who have been in these kind of relationships, I wanted to sort of talk about what happened after these relationships were finished, or how they finished. I have two good friends that had to suffer this. One was a male who had an abusive girl, and another one was a female who had an abusive male. What ended up happening in the end was that the abusive male, in girl situation, they just broke up, and same with the other one. It wasn't any like magical thing. It wasn't any like one day it just clicked and suddenly they realized, oh, I'm making a terrible mistake. It happened over a long amount of time. Both of them dated each other, or like the bad people, for a significantly long amount of time. Oh, a missile fired. Damn it, wasted a missile. For a significantly long amount of time after the fact. Kind of a surprise, you know, when you're like, hey, you're unhappy. I can see that. It was months after, and you know, it's one of those things. Facilitate security checkpoints up permanent around traveling vessel. You'll submit to. Sure. British ship scan the cruise after a few tense moments. Sweet. We just get past that. So it was kind of like, you have this, you know, it kind of hurt watching them have to suffer and deal with this, but it goes back to the whole brain thing. It's like your brain actually chooses to actively ignore potential people who can be, like, you know, these rules that apply to themselves versus others, and we talked about that last episode. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about kind of the why brains are kind of like that. Now this is a little bit of a disconnect on the total distance of it, but it's about something called the Dark Triad, and this is primarily focusing on men in this case, and why like the bad boy is attractive. I swear I've probably talked about this before. I honestly fail to remember. The flu-addled brain having its trouble trying to keep up, but I want to sort of bring it up because it's, in the case of like when you have a friend who likes somebody who isn't good for them, it's important to remember, you know, biologically why that seems cool. Like, why would your body be like, that's the person I want? It's like, they hate you. Yeah, hot. Like, what is the purpose of that? Why? So, we'll begin with what the Dark Triad is. In the case of, this is gonna be tough. In the case of the Dark Triad is where there are 3 human traits that are shitty for reproduction in the community of a humanity being together. Nobody's firing. Oh, there he goes. Now he's firing. Gotcha. Boom! Look at us cramming through their shit. Hold on. Okay, that's all right. That's all working correctly. Cool. So we're going to now fire a missile onto their shield system, and then we're going to fire a burst laser into their weapon system. Oof. Oof. Everybody takes out our doors. What is it about our doors that makes everybody so excited? Anyway, so you have the Dark Triad, and it's a, basically these 3 traits that are bad for reproduction and community. These 3 traits are Machiavellian behaviors, which is controlling and manipulation, narcissism, you know, self-love kind of thing, and then sociopathic tendencies, which sounds really bad, but all 3 of them actually have roots in really positive traits. God, I really remember talking about this before, and now I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but I feel like it's good to repeat this, because if you can imagine somebody who is kind of narcissistic, you know, that can kind of also mean confidence. It can also mean, oh no, politely decline. It can also mean that they will protect themselves, that they think they're worth it. Just, you know, kind of falls into confidence again, but there's definitely a degree of that. My mission is to have one of every 6 different aliens on board at once. So, hold on. I'm not going to do clone bay. I'm not going to do hacking. There's nothing to sell. We need to fix some things, but we're definitely going to buy... I think we're going to buy A.G. Hager. Maybe Dakelin. Dakelin would be cool because he could fight. But A.G. Hager is cool because he could give us extra energy. John's cool because he's cheap. And he gives us some better vision. Hold on. If I was to fix everything, that would cost 44. Okay, so I wouldn't be able to get anybody. So in that case, let's fix a lot. There we go. And then we're gonna buy John because that's gonna be just the most value amount that we can get. Cool. What's up, John? How you doing? Come on. You're engines, dude. Nice. Then we got some good outside visuals that'll work a little better. We got another dude who can help fix and just do shit. Awesome. So you have, you know, this environment where an individual wants to be loved and all that kind of thing, and then the narcissistic situation, and then you have someone who's kind of manipulative. And I'm sure you've kind of seen people who, nice, we participated in a study and got scrapped for no reason. Awesome. You know, been involved with individuals who can be kind of like that, who can kind of take advantage of you, but then it's almost kind of cool. Like, for an example of, like, when it's kind of cool if someone is taking advantage, is anytime someone makes you do something that you're kind of nervous about doing, but then once that happens, you suddenly feel more encouraged. That's an anti-missile, isn't it? Missiles and asteroids. Okay, well, we're not going to fire any missiles right now. We might have to run from this guy. Wait, he fires one little laser? Hold on, we're gonna fire into their shield system, because I think we won't have any trouble with these guys. Not like they don't have a lot of. They have a lot of D, but they don't have a lot of A. Know what I'm saying? So going into a little bit more of the Dark Triad bit, you have the narcissistic behavior, and this. Some people think that the reason why that these traits are attractive is because of the powerful offspring that they could generate. So, for example, if you want your genes to survive, and let's say as a, you know, you see a hot, sexy dude, and you're like, hey, hot, sexy dude, and he's all, you know, bad boy-esque kind of thing. He's kind of narcissistic, manipulative. You would feel like your children, your spawn, would be more likely to survive because they will be taking on these genetics of very aggressive behavior. And, you know, so in the end, it's like, that's worthwhile. Now, it wouldn't necessarily be as worthwhile if, you know, because human race is to survive, so they want the community thing. And that's where you get the whole, like, if you've ever heard the bird example, which is basically with finches, you can have a female finch. Apparently it's something like 20 to 40% of finches. Ooh, we got mind control going on. Oh, he's being shot right now. Ooh, that's really bad. I don't want them. Oh, crud. Okay. We're about to lose that. Oh no. Oh no. We might actually lose a person here. So you have all right. We seem to be getting this now relatively okay. As long as nobody's shooting Kara, I don't care if she's gone evil. There we go. Shoot. A lot of stuff going down. Heal up, buddies. Alright, so these guys are actually... And they're going to attack us in here. Thank you for doing that. So, you have this situation where you know, it's the stronger spawn because it's more aggressive, it's more likely going to take advantage of people, it's more likely going to do a variety of things. Oh, it's mind controlled him. Interesting. Well, let's have you guys handle this, and we're just going to let this go and happen. Why not? Still mind controlled, but eventually they're going to start fighting each other. I'm taking a moment to pay attention to... There we go. Cool. Now get in there. So you have this scenario, you know, stronger son, whatever. I want to kind of also discuss a little bit along the lines of, like, how these traits can be positive. For example, if besides the strong son or the strong daughter thing where they take what they want, and also the bird thing, let me explain that real quick right before we get into it. Basically, the idea is that a bird, like a finch, wants to mate with the strongest potential male finch that it could get a hold of. But that strongest male finch that it can get a hold of may not have time to raise its children. This is, you can see this in like, wow, man, just completely takes it out, huh? Jeez, that sucks. Hold on, let's put the, how many missiles do we have? I'm thinking about, nah, we're good. So you've got the, so basically, because within bird world, you have mating, and then you have raising chicks. And, when, in bird world, when you're trying to have the best, you know, potential genetics, you want the most attractive male bird. But sometimes the most attractive male bird is going to help you raise, this other bird's chicks, because it's just like, all right, you know, I'm going to help raise these chicks because a female bird is incapable of raising its own chicks. So they need two things. But so what ends up happening is that the female bird who doesn't get to have the male bird help raise her chicks will try to trick a less, like, awesome male bird in order to help raise the chicks. So it becomes basically this situation where they're basically cheating on their the male counterpart, so that they're able to get the better genetic trait for their future children. It sounds really kind of bad in a way, like, oh, the true love doesn't exist for birds. But, I mean, who cares, the birds? But human beings kind of have a similar situation where they're trying to make the best potential outcome for their, oh, my heater's on. The best potential outcome for their offspring. You know, you want to have the best beak, the best whatever that's required for survival. And so this scenario totally happens. Is kind of in a way fair. It's where, like, you can understand evolutionary wise. Now, in the case of if you're male or if you're female, we're trying to pick up similar things. Where if you have somebody who seems more, like in the male case, seems more aggressive, you know, that's the better genetic trait in a way, because it's more likely to survive and pass on your genes. But the problem is that then you can't raise your young the same way, and so it's like, so humanity has also found there to be a connection to, like, a cuteness, somebody who's more likely to raise your young with you. In the case of the birds, if the male bird finds out that those are not his young and instead belong to another young in general, then what ends up happening is they end up just leaving. So you have to, like, basically convince Papa Bird that these are his kids, or that they're, you know, you're actually just work with these kids. Oh baby, we need more fuel, but we can get more of these guys, and we get more of these guys, and we have some really cool shit going. Well, let's see. If I buy you, I can buy 2 more fuel. But I can't buy you. That doesn't help. Living life on the edge. Living life on the edge. Here we go. Just get as far over this way as we can, and hopefully we'll find another store. Or we could always go back. I didn't think of that either. We could actually always go back. And cycle round if need be. Nice, we got a mantis ship to go up against. Oh, we didn't even put this guy in any spot. You handle the sensors? Sure, why not? You handle the sensors. You fire on the weapons. You fire on the shields. So you got these. So, uh-oh. How about you two fighting here? Oh, you're not doing shit. All right, you handle the doors then. Pew 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 pew. Oh, John's getting hurt. Let's get John into here. Sheesh. Alright, so we're taking out their weapons. We don't need to fire the Artemis. Alright. I do think we should fire a burst laser here, though. Because this will end up probably hurting some of the guys in here. Nice. There's only 2 dudes left. So, going back and forth with this case of the strong children versus the, you know, like a mate. But it's kind of fascinating because you basically have, oh, another store. How quaint is that? Nice. All right, well, we'll hop up here too, and we'll just fight another robot ship. Now you get back in the engines, yo. We'll fire the burst lasers at the weapons, and we'll fire the Artemis 15 missiles. Nice, at the shield. So you got that, you know, this general understanding, right? So why these arguably less desirable people would actually become more desirable biologically to us. And I mean, as a human being, we like reproducing. That's like how we work. And it's the fact that we've never changed since way back when isn't, you know, a big argument for the fact that that's why we are still so ape-like. We still have such behaviors that seem kind of pointless. Like, why would we maintain this situation where we care about, you know, the aggressive son or the, you know, the aggressive daughter kind of thing? But the truth is like, we're just humans, so we just haven't evolved out of the need to do that. One thing that's kind of cool about all of this is you can kind of take advantage of it. For one, the way I'd argue that fire suppression, put out fires throughout the ship, oh, that's really cool. Drone recovery arm, retrieve when jumping, allowing other parts to be reused. That's actually really cool too. But I'm pretty confident we're gonna buy something like this. I think I want to do this over the Artemis. And then I want to buy fuel too. So let's sell the Artemis. Then it'll get us enough. Then we can buy this. Then we can buy fuel. And we can, you know, fix as much as we can. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So you can kind of take advantage of these human traits. For example, if like the narcissism thing is just confidence, and so it's actually like you will appear more attractive if you are, you know, if you love yourself more. I mean, there's certainly a balance, but there's absolutely a level of some people would assume smuggler trying to stay out of beacons. Nope, attack the pirate. So it's like, it's totally something where it's worth somewhat taking advantage of this opponent. Wow, this person, I'm fighting a dude. Taking advantage of these natural biological traits. So it's kind of like, that's what like making yourself prettier is, you know? If you think about it, a person who's muscular isn't necessarily going to be better at, I don't know, like, shoot, let's think, reproducing. Like, why is a muscular male attractive? It's like some people are like, well, he's more likely to protect you. He's, you know, he's control of his body. You know, a variety of things like that, which is like, okay, I can kind of see some of those behaviors. No, we're gonna continue to attack, of course. No, we can kind of understand that mindset. Same thing, like, but what about an attractive woman? Like, it used to be that a more voluptuous woman was more attractive. But now it's like more thinner. And then it's actually going back to the more voluptuous woman again with, like, if you have Nicki Minaj talking about big butts and stuff. And then if you go, I like big butts, that song was another time when it was more popular. And it's kind of an interesting back and forth where, you know, you kind of wonder, like, where is, like, the actual truth in what people find. Oh, an ion charger. 50 scrap. Wow. What a weapon. That's going to totally replace that. Alright, that requires 2. Well, we're going to upgrade our weaponry. Boom. And we'll get another one of these next. Hell yeah. Oh man. This is pretty sick. Let's see. I can't do that yet, so I can pull it out of there and boom. Yeah, nice. Alright, we're not gonna go to the exit yet. We're gonna dance around. Didn't say 50 scrap. I swear I thought it said 50 scrap. It did. I just bought a thing, right? Before you have time to make contact, they fade and attempt to follow and help them. Nice. We already have a slug though. Shoot. Well, you handle. I guess here. Bummer. Already have a slug though. Ugh. So, you know, loving yourself, that kind of thing, definitely provides a little bit more of a, you know, a connection. People like that. And then also the manipulative thing is actually just kind of playing the political game. If you're flirtatious, right? You know, so you're really funny. People think you're cute. Hold on, we're gonna let this charge up all the way before we start firing it. That's a form of Machiavellian behavior. And it doesn't seem like it immediately. Oh, hey-o. You two, how about you guys get involved here? You know, if I hadn't have taken this door guy off, he would have been stuck. God damn it. Oh well. Alright, now we can fire the charge. No we can't, not yet. My bad. Might be. Still charging that motherfucker up. Alright, we got 3 guys on this dude. We'll take him out shortly. Bam! Yeah. Everybody back to your spots. You two don't have any spots yet, do you? Alright, well you go back and heal then. Fire away. Pew 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 pew. Nice. We'll drop oxygen for a second when we do this. Oh, it's paused, so it's like, why is no healing? There we go. So you have this environment, you have this situation with the flirtatious behaviors. Oh, here we go. Time to fight again. With the flirtatious behaviors. And the flirtatious being Machiavellian. Somebody who's able to manipulate words and be funny and clever and stuff like that is really what the kind of Machiavellian expectations show up. And then finally, the sociopathic tendencies are things like not caring what other people think about you. I know that seems like, well, that's a confidence thing, isn't it? It's like, well, yeah, it's also like what empathy comes from is, you know, caring how other people feel is part of that. But there's definitely a relation to... Oh, we're still running out of oxygen. There we go. So there's definitely a relation to... There we go. A relation to people who are having those sociopathic tendencies and seeming more attractive, more interesting, partly because they provide less interest in you. It's something where, and that's just, you know, another human trait where it's like, if something isn't really giving you attention, you find it more attractive, more interesting. It's that whole want what you can't have kind of behavior. And that's natural, that's whatever. But, and the whole thing I'm trying to bring this in is this is kind of a soft explanation for why people are going to fall for shitty loves, and why that kind of happens. And, you know, it's, you want to blame the person for it, and you know, it's a human trait to make these mistakes. In the same way, it's a human trait to get embarrassed when you shouldn't be, or feel awkward when you don't need to be, or get angry when you should be calm. And it takes practice and experience, and sometimes just, you know, your own personal born with personality to be able to get past some of these things. You know, if you're naturally think before you act kind of thing, or if you're the kind of or if you're the kind of person who likes to move before getting afraid of things. You know, it's like the person who moves before they get afraid of things might jump into something bad before the person who thinks before they act, because they're like, okay, well, let's plan our moves in advance, while the other one's like, no time, let's go. And each one is totally valuable, because the person who plans might miss opportunities or get afraid when they shouldn't be, and vice versa kind of thing. So anyway, I wanted to follow it up with this because I think these last two faster than light thought diaries kind of make a good package. You know, how to actually communicate to somebody, you're crazy for doing this. You're crazy for being in an emotionally structured, like, shitty relationship. I don't know why you're doing it. Stop. And then also going, this is why it's hard to stop. You know, and so that way when you go and talk to somebody who's in one of these situations, you can go up and honestly say, it's hard, I get it. You're still crazy for suffering this way, though, you know, and you try to give these people these outside view so that they're able to start saying, like, okay, you know, because when you really get down to it, the idea of sticking with someone who's bad for you is the thought that there isn't anything necessarily better nearby. Or, like, it's this fear that if we stop, you know, we'll never be loved again and we'll just die, or our genetics will just never pass on. And that was true once. That was during a time when, you know, humanity was all sticks and stones and spears and grunts and owning, you know, like, capturing women and then making, you know, like, that kind of timeline when men were men to be stronger than other men, versus now where it's everyone's on an equal footing. I mean, honestly, we're trying to make the world an equal footing. There's still masochism, there's still sexism, there's still race, all that. But, you know, it's like, it's significant, the culture is trying. So, once, you know, when you take all of that, that's where all our behaviors evolved from, during this time when we were apes. You know, we're still apes, but really, 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 really apes. And, that's and then that's where it sort of comes from. But then, so, when you're talking to that friend of yours who's suffering with this stupid relationship, realize that. And realize, and this is, I think, the most important part for you, realize these truths about being in a bad relation. So, A, it helps you stay out of one. Because sometimes, you know, you realize you see the signs and you start feeling it. And then 2, is because if you find yourself in one, to let go and forgive yourself for making that choice, because it's natural and it happens. And I know a lot of great, smart, brilliant people who had bad relationships and kind of were like, why did I stay? I wasted life. And it's like, look, it's okay. Like, it's about moving on. It's about realizing you made this mistake, learning from it, and continuing on. And it's really hard, though, if you're a confident, smart person, to realize that you let somebody hurt you that way. Because you could leave, you know, and there's other options. This is, you know, this is a social group that typically is easier to separate from, you know, relationships split. So that's natural. Anyway, dudes, there we go. I hope you enjoyed my somewhat sick rantingness about what's going on. Sick as in double entendre, because I am physically fluish and also was amazing. Badass. Anyway, if you liked what you saw, please leave a like. You want to see more, subscribe, and thank you so much for doing so. It's a total joy to have you here. If you have any things advice-wise you want me to be chatting about, let me know down below. I'm really curious to see what you guys want me to kind of discuss, or if you're just like, whatever. Or if you even kind of like hearing these little sort of side vlogs that I do alongside our permadeath, let me know. Can't wait to hear. Anyway, may the ground rise to meet your feet, may the wind always be at your back, and the sun shine warmly on your sexy, sexy face. See you later, dudes. Bye.